Ah. Okay. Ow! Fuck! Okay. Um. So, very much an unforced error. Just as I'm kind of, like over the weekend, I made my next payment on the place, and the whole thing is starting to stabilize. The amount of things that would have to go wrong for me to like actually dislodge myself in my recovery loop are increasing. Like that list is growing. That's good. That's good. That's all very good. But what I did manage to accomplish is, while I was having I can't remember even why, just one of my bad moments. I'm pretty depressed right now. I'm actually probably pretty depressed in general. Just my depression tends to, was masked very heavily under like that chemical hypomania for so many years. Like, I mean, that was what I was originally being treated for. Yeah, I'm literally pulling into my house. Chill the fuck out. It's mad because I didn't put on my seatbelt to drive the, 50 feet? I probably just could have parked in my place and walked across the street, but unfortunately, what I'm leading to here is, while smoking, I coughed while, leaning, and, I was leaning over the creek, and a mix of, asthma cough and, everything. It was fairly intense. I had been smoking too much, and that's my fault. I definitely had fallen back into the habit of it. Pulled both a muscle in my lower throat that seems connected to my upper, back area in a way that really fucking hurts. Ow! Talking hurts, eating hurts, most forms of movement that involve the upper body and arm motion hurt. And it's completely unforced. No one made me do this. None of my friends in my life are pro-smoking. Well, okay. The ones who are pro-smoking are usually a lot more passively suicidal depressive types like myself. But fuck, this is not fun. I've pulled muscles in the last 2 years on roughly the same, in similar ways, but those are all those were with foot injuries, just a simple misstep. I'm a little clumsy, and I rolled my ankle both times. That hurt. Didn't like that. Wasn't a fan, but it was fine. And usually the first couple days are the worst, and using the muscle more and more, and just a mix of using the muscle but also letting it rest tends to be good. It's a little hard to do that. I talk for one part of my job, and the other part of my job I have to lift things. And that would probably be true if I had got a job at the Dollar General or whatever, where I just talked to the lady across the street. I didn't talk to her too much. Just every single time I talk to her. She's the manager. I'm told she's a pretty cool person. They have hiring signs. I'm not actually sure if that location's hiring, but hey, look, I'll make whatever connections, whatever I can here. If having people in town, especially someone across the street who's fairly friendly, that's where I go to get most of my quick groceries. So yeah, that's all good. I mean, trajectory is mostly good on all that. I'm fairly depressed. I still don't really entirely know what I'm doing any of this for, and that's reflected more in the text blog, but there is this effect with the text blog where now that I cut it off at sunset instead of at midnight, I like it because the midnight cutoffs just used to feel arbitrary and would kind of split off thoughts randomly. But the sunset cutoffs do create situations where I am very much, you're getting the most nighttime, quiet, reflective thoughts from me. They tend to be more depressed than, daytime on the move, Lania. Fuck. I'm sorry, I lean my head back, or I swallow, or I take a breath. It's just, you can either picture the pain in, the very, near the Adam's apple, or pulling on my not even my shoulder, it's the base of my neck into my shoulder blades. I'm sure there's a name for that muscle. I used to know it. I did several PE and science classes. Fuck. Okay. I gotta stop. I gotta stop talking. But, it is distressing. I think one of the things about me that like throws people off is that I have a depression laugh, which is not a great response, because either people will be really freaked out when you are in horrible pain and start laughing, or it's just a little hard to not find a little funny how much it sucks. Fuck. Like I just, yeah. I was laughing a lot when I had the brain aneurysm. People didn't like that either. I laugh when like major TV like characters I like in TV shows die. It does not mean I like it. And like if I find anything funny, it's usually in the most wry, like this is so fucked up kind of way. Fuck. But ooh, yeah. Ow. Yeah, I mean, on top of all of it, I definitely still have like the reflux shit, and I do need to maybe be eating around like, you know, lower acid diets. It sucks because like that's so many things. Like mustard seems to be setting it off. Like I already like tomatoes already reliably set. It's just a lot of high acid shit. And I've got a GI appointment like November. We can see what that nets. So I finally got back, and I'm just gonna, I mean, a little bit of financial anxiety today, kind of worked all of it out. I mean, everything's moved away from like the order of like, ooh, you know, I'm gonna like lose housing and fuck up my recovery, to like, ooh, I'm a broke girl who's trying to get like better work than delivery shit and help my studio take off. And I'm in this kind of like awkward middle ground where like, you know, the asks to friends have gotten a little less desperate, but you know, there is still that awkward, you know, like few hours when I'm first spinning up in a day when like nothing's really coming through. And you know, I got a new subscription. That's great. I do love those. People don't realize how much like even $5 a month, because I mean it's $5 a month. I never have to think, not never have to think about it. It's $5 a month. I don't really have to think about, and like, you know, every single time someone does that, that's another $5, $10. I've got a couple $20 patrons, no one much higher, but that all comes out to like, okay, you know, it's a good amount of it. It's stable, it's reliable, and every single time a number goes up like that, you know, now there's an extra patron on my Patreon, now someone might consider it a little bit more, like even on the metric of just the number going up by one, like, you know, art's a lot of faith and democracy in a lot of ways these days. Like, yeah, people talk about the luck aspects of art. That is a big part of it. It's also a lot of who you know, who you're willing to talk to, and the ability to, like, you know, both promote yourself and kind of manage the channels of social media. Like, you're not going to be, like, you know, a name. You're not going to be, like, Mr. Beast famous, but, like, the capacity to, like, build a small audience based on reliable, good output is not as impossible as people think. And you know, I do run into that when explaining this sort of thing to people, because like it's really not the impossible task people think. And like that, I hadn't done it yet. I was starting to. I made a lot of progress towards it. Things fell apart. My life fell apart, and this is recovery. I'm also just sad as fuck now, but I was sad as fuck before the meds started. So and like, you know, the Zachs and the Marleys and the Coras and all the people who don't care for me, whatever. Or the people who do care for me, I mean, because all of those, and I've been talking to my mother more, not like reconnecting there, but like it had been some comfort, because I think she had finally realized what was happening with me, and like realized I wasn't the kind of crazy she was expecting. And realized, I think she realized I very much need to be out of there. But then my father started making a power play, and listen, that was never going to be. I'm fully cut off there now. That's been a big thing, is I had to pivot on the gas expenses today. But hey, I figured that out. I'm doing it in style. It's going. I don't know why it's going, and until I have a reason for that, I'm going to keep occasionally getting sad. But hey, it's something. I need to stop talking, and I need to like not move or get really high or something. I don't know.